Breaking news, according to DAZN reporter, it looks like Canelo has had very preliminary discussions with Team Billy Joe Saunders about a possible next fight for Canelo. Canelo versus Billy Joe Saunders. What up, Fight World? It's your boy Ego, and I'm back with some more boxing. Make sure you smash the like button. Also, subscribe to the channel for the latest and greatest in boxing. If you want to become part of the gang notification gang, please hit the bell icon. Shout out to the super chats, channel donations, the Venmo donations, and the Patreon family. We working. Now, this is a reporter who works with DAZN, Chris Mannix, as you guys can see. And Billy Joe Saunders just fought on the KSI Logan Paul 2 card. I don't think he looked sensational. I don't think he believes he looked sensational. Post-fight, he says, I don't deserve Canelo or Daniel Jacobs based on my effort and performance versus Corceres, an unknown person that Eddie Hearn put him in the ring with for this YouTube card, right? And most people, you know, I was on Twitter, I have my own opinions, and I said the same thing. You can look at my old tweets during the fight. Said that Billy Joe Saunders, you know, he looks subpar. Inconsistent performance is, you know, a far cry from the performance with a better name like David Lemieux that we know of. For whatever reason, the DAZN rep, Chris Mannix, says Saunders made it clear in the fighter meetings if he can't get Canelo, he wants to fight Andrade. Andrade and Saunders were scheduled to fight in the middleweight belt last fall before Saunders vacated his title following a failed drug test. So anyway, it's a weird phrasing. Basically, he was forced to abandon his title, you know, if you want to call that vacating, because he failed a drug test. And then Andrade fought for the now vacant belt because the fight fell apart because Billy Joe Saunders failed a drug test. You see people in the comment section saying, Chris, you still haven't told us why you made up the story about Tank versus Adrian Broner fighting, ... No explanation. You know, new media, man, making it pretty tough in boxing to just say whatever. Now, DAZN reporter puts this out. He says, super middleweight title holder Billy Joe Saunders called out Canelo after his win, and that there have been some very preliminary discussions between the Canelo-Saunders sides about a fight next year, per sources. DAZN will continue to push for a Canelo Triple G trilogy fight in May. Now, this is very interesting. You have a DAZN reporter saying they've entertained and had early discussions, very preliminary discussions are the exact words, verbatim. You guys see it on the screen. And that was for Canelo Saunders. Then you have a comment that says DAZN will continue to push for Canelo Triple G trilogy in May. So, man, it's looking so crazy for old media. And once again, Ego Stradamus and new media strikes again. Why would Canelo, out of all, he's in 3 divisions, a champion in 3 divisions, the 2 names from a DAZN reporter, and he fights on an exclusive contract with DAZN. Why would the 2 names that they're looking to make Canelo face be Saunders, who looked subpar, lackluster performance, even though he was able to get a knockout in the end? That was in the 11th round. His best work was in one particular round, similar to Canelo. Canelo wasn't necessarily looking like the typical Canelo we've seen versus Kovalev, and he got it done, you know, a knockout in the 11th round. So why would you be doing very preliminary discussions with Billy Joe Saunders, and his American debut was blunderous, looked pretty bad? He admits that he doesn't even deserve a Canelo fight. That's what Billy Joe Saunders, look it up. There's major boxing websites. It's on the post-fight interview. He says, I don't deserve Canelo or Jacobs based on that performance. And then Eddie Hearn, there's also interviews you can find floating around. Old media, y'all got to do something. Billy Joe Saunders is being vouched for by Eddie Hearn, his promoter, new promoter, saying Billy Joe Saunders was sick. If Billy Joe Saunders looked good throughout the fight, then why would Eddie Hearn even need to tell the public he was sick? Like, if you look spectacular and then you blew through somebody, that's one thing. Like, I remember I covered a fight, Manny Pacquiao versus Adrian Broner. And Pacquiao, pretty much shut Broner out in the later rounds. Broner started off pretty good, pretty sharp. But then Pacquiao clearly pulled away. And then Pacquiao later said, "Oh, I was sick." And you can see him sniveling and, he was going through it. But I can understand if you win convincingly and then you tell the world, hey, this wasn't, I won and I won dominated and stuff like that. And I'm sick, because people are like, damn, you did that when you were sick. But Billy Joe Saunders, it's convenient when you have the complexion for the protection. Everybody's sick. They said on DAZN in the last few months, Triple G doesn't look that great versus Deryevchenko. They said he was sick. That's what Eddie Hearn said. Billy Joe Saunders' American debut versus Marcelo Esteban Corceres, he doesn't look good. Billy Joe Saunders was sick, So Logan Paul, main event, he lost to KSI. He said he was sick. Just, you could look up all this stuff. So apparently if you perform less than expected, and I'm not even Logan Paul, he's an exception just because he's not the long-time boxer and stuff. But, Triple G and Saunders, they underperformed. They were sick. That's the running notion. Funny how that works when you have the complexion for the protection. So again, the walls are closing in. I predicted this. Canelo versus Triple G would be pushed, or Billy Joe Saunders. Literally, those are the two people before the KSI Logan Paul fight. I said if I had to take a random guess, those are the two people they're going to link Canelo with. Billy Joe Saunders, because he's not the biggest puncher out of the lot, and Triple G because he looked weathered versus Sergey Deryevchenko. And then literally after Billy Joe Saunders has a poor performance, which Demetrius Andrade during in real time was laughing. He said, Billy Joe Saunders is looking great tonight. Ha, ha, ha. And then that's the performance where, who you guys are saying is the face of boxing, Canelo Alvarez, would even consider these guys. So Canelo just knocked out a light heavyweight with 2 or 3 punches. See, DAZN and Golden Boy, they thought that would make Canelo look good. That, to me, that fight looked FAF. They thought this would be like, oh, Canelo's back, he's electrified. But it's actually had the reverse effect, because Mexican legends like Eric Morales predicted this. Like, why does Canelo keep fighting guys at the end of their rope or off bad performances? Guys that are weathered and deteriorating and look defiled and stuff. Why is he fighting those guys? And now that Canelo, who you're saying is the face of boxing, just knocked out a light heavyweight who Eddie Reynoso said was the #1 light heavyweight. You've done that, and you're going to follow it up with fighting potentially Saunders, who looked bad against an unheard of guy. At least Triple G looked bad against Deryevchenko, who, gave Danny Jacobs a tough fight, but Jacobs beat him. But Canelo already beat Jacobs. He already beat Triple G. Jacobs beat Deryevchenko, but Triple G looked bad versus Deryevchenko. Who wants to see Canelo versus Triple G 3 when Canelo has since moved up to 168, got a stoppage, and moved up to 175 and got a stoppage? Meanwhile, Golovkin fought Steve Rolls on DAZN, and then he came back and looked bad versus Deryevchenko, and he shouldn't be a champion right now, and Deryevchenko should be a champion. Saunders, he fought on this YouTube card. They were booing him, and it definitely wasn't his best work. He looked good in the 11th round, and that's it. And that was against a lesser opponent than Deryevchenko. So once again, if DAZN and Canelo and their team and Golden Boy, they have a lot of questions to answer. When you have guys like Caleb Plant, who's knocking people out, dropping respected competition like Jose Uzcategui. You got a Mexican American who had a great turnout for his fight against J. Leon Love, a fight I was at ringside, versus J. Leon Love. David Benavidez had a bunch of fans. I was right there after, and he looked great. Stopped J. Leon Love in 2 in Texas. Then he fought at the Staples Center, another packed house. He was the co-feature. He stopped Anthony Durrell, the famous Durrell brothers, who no one had stopped Anthony Durrell, and David Benavidez became a two-time champion at a young age. He's 22 or whatever age he is. He looked good. Zordo Ramirez been calling out Canelo. He's undefeated, 6'2.5", undefeated with Top Rank. You have Artur Beterbiev, who Canelo's team said is lesser than Kovalev. You have obviously the black fighters that, to me, Canelo is avoiding, like Jamal Charlo, who's been calling out Canelo, says Canelo can fight. I want to fight him. They say he's the best. He has a good jab. Canelo was badly bothered by Kovalev's jab, right? And Kovalev looked like he wasn't even trying like we've seen in the past. Jamal Charlo has one of the best jabs in boxing, and he has a height advantage, and he's undefeated, and we know he has stoppage power. You have Demetrius Andrade, who's with the same company, DAZN, and his name is only being linked to Billy Joe Saunders, Triple G, and Canelo, not when they're on the air and putting Canelo on the spot, putting Billy Joe Saunders on the spot, putting Triple G on the spot. They're not mentioning Andrade. They're coming to Twitter and then acting like Saunders needs to fight Andrade and stuff like that. Why don't you do that on air so the world can see? They're not putting that pressure on that trio, Triple G, Canelo, and Billy Joe Saunders. So once again, the walls are closing in. I literally predicted that Canelo would be eyeing Billy Joe Saunders and Triple G, and then it happened. So you guys tell me what's up. New media, old media, explain this. Canelo's the face of boxing. His numbers are going down. He sold 10,005. He had to wait for UFC 245. But let me guess, I'm fake news. They're going to say I'm fake news. I don't know what I'm talking about. I'm the Canelo hater. You know, so you explain it. Why would Canelo want to even fight Triple G next in a trilogy fight? Why would DAZN press for that? You have Canelo, who has done interviews, and he stated Triple G looked poor. Triple G lost to Deryevchenko. So if you know he lost to Deryevchenko, like I said, new media, then you know he shouldn't be a champion right now. So you have no excuse to really even fight him at this point until Triple G rematches Deryevchenko, gets past him clean, and then maybe talk about fighting him. Now you've earned your belt, you know? Canelo told Triple G, hey, get a belt, and then I'll think about fighting you. But he got a belt, via robbery. So does that really count? Are we really going to count that? You know? So if someone says, you know, get a belt, I'll fight you, and then they rob someone to get a belt, I mean, you technically have a belt, but the world knows what it was. Triple G didn't look good. He looked like he was hurt and about to get stopped. And Canelo has since moved up to higher divisions and stopped guys at 68 and 75. So why would I want to see Triple G come up to 68, fight at a catch weight, or Canelo go back down to 160 to fight a guy who looked worn, weathered, past it, you know, age 38 by the time May rolls around. Same thing with Billy Joe Saunders. Horrendous, very torrid American debut on the KSI Logan Paul card. Why would Canelo even be considering that when you got Jamal Charlo, when you got Andrade, who might even be willing to flex his weight because he said he would for Billy Joe Saunders? You know, you got Caleb Smith. The world is not foolish, but I can't wait to hear the different excuses for Canelo, you know, that go against what new media is saying, I'm saying, Eric Morales, Marquez, Nacho Beristain, Chavez Sr. Good luck with that. If you love what I'm doing, smash the like button. As always, hate, comment, and subscribe. Till next video is Ego, signing off. So if you enjoyed this video and want more content like this on the channel, you can show your appreciation by going to the PayPal donate button or the YouTube support button. And you can donate any amount that you feel is equivalent to the value of this video. Much more to come. Thank you guys for your support. Boxing Ego, the future of boxing.